It is your girl Cadillac. Yes, I'm Cadillac Dixon. I'm the Drama Life Prison Wife. I'm the legally blind artist that is rapping and painting for justice, hoping to see justice before all face too black. Yes, it's your Cadillac. Anyways, coming through today. Now it is January the 1st. Girl, how did I get to the first? The first and the 15th. It is January the 15th, 2024, right? And I'm coming through because I got another list. Y'all know I focus in on justice. I have my family vlogs, I have my little arts and chats like that. And then I wanted to start just putting out other little knowledge because I have gained a lot of insight over all these years, right? And one of the things that had been a thorn in my side is narcissistic energy from so many different sources. Like I told you, it can come from your job, it can come from our social structure. The reason why I struggle so hard um, with being a prison wife and with defending your husband to DOC and stuff, all that stuff they got going on, and defending his case and stuff is because the system itself is narcissistic, right? And it hides behind a mask of keeping us safe, right? So a lot of the stuff that they do gets overlooked because they, you know, so narcissistic energy everywhere within, whether it's family, friends, work settings, it becomes a lot. It takes a lot away from your life. It takes a lot of you watching and divulging a lot of content about narcissists because at first I thought I was just crazy. Something wrong with me. It's me. But anybody that, have been in these types of relationships realize that's normal, that you start to think it's you. And well, it's not really normal for it to always be you. How could you, when you're in a relationship, it's always your fault? Like that's not normal. But we become to where we start to believe it. So it is normal to think that it's always you within these types of relationships. And a lot of times, until you get out of the relationships, you can get outside of the situation and actually see the full thing that's happening and see that, oh, okay, so this was not healthy. Anyways, tonight I do have 10 things that narcissists say that piss you off. Girl. Okay, so let's just get right into it. You and me are just alike. Can't you, girl, that is irritating as all jail. And jail is hell. So I meant jail. That is irritating because it's like, hold on, how we alike? You doing some off the wall crazy stuff that I would never do. Like, how are you constantly saying we're just alike? No, we're not. If you really want to call a thing, we're just the opposites. Like, we're on completely different sides of the fence. But that will just get up under your skin when they say that. Okay, you remember when this and that and that and this? You don't remember so and so was right there when it happened. So this is when they're bringing up an occurrence of a situation and they're like, you don't remember that? Like almost like it's when they're trying to say even like almost like even you agreed to it or even you remember this happened. It's like trying to bring a remembrance of something that you like, girl, did that even really happen? I don't know, I don't remember that. But because they sound so sure and convincing, it's gonna gaslight you to think that you're just crazy and this really did happen. And then when like at the end when they throw that witness in there that could appear or could not, they could just reference a witness. It makes it seem like it's at least two against one. So that just really ugh, Makes you want to grind your teeth when they say that. Okay, it's not just me. Other people say that about you. You too. I'm sorry, hold on, let me say it over. It's not just me. Other people say that about you too. And then never tell you who said that. So that again is back to creating that witness that agrees with that person, with the narcissist, about what's going on, and you are that way, or you do this, or you do that. It's like agreeing with them. So it's again that situation where it's at least two against one. But again, they never really reveal who this hidden witness is that agrees with them. That also is a form of, if you do study and like kind of get into this learning of these relationship dynamics, that's also a part in triangulation, where the parts are against you. So you're one point on the triangle, and it's that person and that person both against you. So it's two against one, you're out, right? So you're wrong, and I'm right because I have this invisible witness with me. Okay. See, you didn't hear what they just said, and you respond, yeah, and proceed to verbatimly recite what the person just said, what so and so just said. And they say, no, you didn't hear correctly. So that is again a way to, it's another form of gaslighting. It is making you doubt what you just seen or you just heard with your two ears. You heard it, you saw it, but they're trying to make it seem as though, no, that's not what you just heard. No, that's not what you just saw. And it again makes you doubt yourself. The more in these relationship dynamics you doubt yourself, the more, if you don't know what happened, then you have to take their witness of what happened, right? Their account of what happened becomes your reality because you're starting to doubt yourself. And again, these people seem so freaking convincing because think about it, how convincing they are. Who would be doing all that if they're wrong, right? Who would go through all of those measures to prove themselves right if they're really wrong? Like nobody would take those measures. But again, that's what it's like. You know what just happened. Your memory ain't that short. This just happened a few seconds ago, or you're hearing as they're speaking, and you know how to analyze. And that's what I had to realize. I know, I hear. I'm quite smart. I'm very intuitive, so I'm not going to question what I heard. I know what I heard. And that's just another form of gaslighting, but that will get under your skin. Ugh. And I don't know if I have this on here, but another thing that gets under my skin is when you know you're right and there's other people around and you're like, didn't that just happen? And they all just sit there and just look at you like, nobody says a darn thing. Nobody stands up and say, yes, that just happened. Or yes, that was what was said. You have no witness, so it just becomes where it's just your word against that person's word. But that person, the bystanders, they know. Like I had that video talking about the issues with their family, and when there are other family members that kind of bystand and just sit and bear witness of what's happening, but they never jump in to actually say, hey, you're wrong. Hey, you're right. They never call it, right? And in that case, you never fully bury the situation. You try to bury it, but it's not dead. It's still a live situation that you just buried and it's going to rise back up, right? Well, you attempted to bury. Okay. Another one. I never said that. Now you could know good goddamn well It's what that person said, and they gonna tell I ain't say that. I that wasn't me. I ain't say that. They'll probably follow up with you said that, because they always spin the wheel and turn it back on you. Okay, here's another one. You make me feel bad. And I got a little side note that says, as if they know how to feel bad. Yes, you make me feel bad. So when you do voice your opinion, say how you feel, say you don't like something, and even if you say it doesn't matter, if you in the nicest, most kindest, gentlest words you can find, the softest words you can find, they always have a way of saying that you hurt their feelings. I'm like, your feelings got to be super goddamn fragile. And for me, I'm not the type of person that goes out and find um dagger like speech to hit you with. I just kindly, and I talk very slowly so I can think about every word that is about to come out my mouth, and somehow they make you feel like you're always saying the wrong thing. You're always just hurting their feelings. So that's another one of those things that just gets under your skin. You like, huh? Anybody else would have just cussed you out. But rather than me cussing you out, I'm trying to find the softest words possible to portray what I'm feeling, but also let you know that, hey, I'm not cool with that. Okay. Okay, you go through that because you won't listen to me. That's another one. It's like, within these dynamics, narcissistic dynamics, they believe that they're all knowing. They know everything there is to know about every subject, every topic, everything under the sun, all knowing, almost like God. And when you decide to, like, I feel like I can take advice, but I mean, I can listen to your advice, but if I don't want to follow your advice, then I mean, you should be okay with that, because it's like advice is just kind of lent to a person. They don't have to accept your advice. They can listen to it, but ultimately, any decision made is going to affect their lives. So if they go off and, like for me, when something happens, I collect information. I do listen to people that have been through things, that have been where I'm like, I'm trying to give y'all advice if y'all have not been into a relationship like this, or if you're in a relationship like this and you're trying to figure it out. Because, like me, I just thought I was crazy. And girl, I know I'm not crazy now. This is a thing, and it'll keep you cycling. It'll keep you stalled in your life. So I'm just trying to give those tools to move forward, right? But if I give you the tools and you don't want to use them, I'm not gonna get mad at you. You just didn't want to, hear my advice. But they would tell you, if you didn't listen, if you had to listen to me, then this would have happened and that would have happened. But ultimately, who gets that mad for not, you know, because you didn't do what they said? That's very aggravating for me. Okay, when they say, I'm not angry, I'm not yelling, and they clearly are, that will really piss you off. I heard Intuitive Anthony talk about that too. Like, they'll always say they'll interact with you as though they're angry. You can see all the, like, anger is not just the word. You see it in the person's face. You see it in everywhere, like their movements. You see the anger, and or yelling. You can hear. I'm not deaf. When your volume, you're right. If we having a normal conversation, and I hear that your volume is louder than what a normal conversation is, and your tone, because tone also has a play with it, is not a tone that if we were just laughing and joking you would be talking in. You are yelling. You are angry. But I hate when it's again a form of gaslighting where you can't depend on your own eyes or your own ears to analyze how the person is feeling. They are, I'm not angry. Your brain does not process that is not being angry. That looks angry. And I'm quite smart to, I'm smart enough to decide whether I can tell you're angry or not. Like, but it's always in these dynamics. It's kind of, you always got to just fall back. You got to just fall back, let them have that one. Fall back, let them have that one. Fall back, let them have that one. But if you stay in these relationships long enough, you start to distrust yourself. And that's the bad part. You always trust them, but then you don't trust yourself. Okay. You let people walk all over you. So now there's a situation and you are wronged or something. Sometimes it's a small thing, like it could be the clerk at the store did something or they cheated you out of a dime or something like that. And they'll say, if they witness it, they'll say, see, that's because you let people get away with it, or you let people do that. That's why you go through that. I cannot stand that, because the elephant in the room is that you let that narcissistic person get away with so much that you should have held their feet to the fire about. And you chalk it up, you be the bigger person, you try to leave it alone. But the elephant in the room is, we should have addressed that situation with you too. So how you gonna tell me that I am being too, letting people get away with stuff, you know, and you clearly know that I'm letting you get away with what you're doing, with the way you're acting, the way you're treating me, the way you do this and that behind my back, but then you in my face. And that spirit, I cannot stand that spirit, that narcissistic spirit. Okay. And they say it wouldn't be me and blah blah blah. Okay. They automatically get religious on you. Okay, this is what. Okay, so this refers to when. Hold on. Let me read the whole thing. They get religious on you. Oh, when I go through, I just call on the Lord. I take it to Him and I leave it there. And when you see them going through, they do none of the above. They be going, they do not just sit there all and in peace and calm and serenity like they say they do. They gonna call you a million and one times. They gonna call this person, that person. They gonna be frantic. But then when they go back and you going through something, oh no, I just call on the Lord, knowing you don't. But that's again playing with your perception, gaslighting you to think that though you viewed them do this and that, you're going to listen to what they say of how they act in that situation. When you know, when you've seen them in that situation or a situation that's not as bad as the one you're going through, they don't react like that. They don't react calm like that. That's just to make it, again, seem as though you're always overreacting or you're always, that's one thing I cannot stand. Okay, when they make everything you go through much easier than what they go through. So this is like, so that's a scenario, but let me see. So the thing that they would say was like, okay, say your leg was broken, and they'll be like, oh, my stub toe is way worse than your leg. You ain't try, you talking about your leg, but try having a stub toe. A stub toe is way worse. You can't even walk with a stub toe. They'll make whatever that they are going through worse than what you're going through so that it can seem as though they're just stronger than you. And of course, again, you're the weaker one. You're the weaker link because if they have to go through that much and you only have this little thing to go through and you can't get through it, is because you're not as strong as them. So it's always making them above you. They always, in these relationships, have to be above you, which if someone's above, someone has to be below. So if you're in these type of relationships long enough, you start to think lower and lower of yourself over time. Okay. They make everything the direct opposite of what you did. And you even think about me when all you did was think about them. So you don't hear them complaining. Okay. I got this kind of mixed up. Hold on. They make everything the direct opposite of what you did. Okay, so that's a comma. Now, this is a pretend quote. You ain't even think about me. And I'm saying when all you did was think about them. Now, for me in these type of relationships, you got to think ahead. You already know it's going to be, this, and that. You already know if you do this, they're going to be mad about that. So you try to plan ahead what you're going to do so that you can take extra care to not, almost like they say, wake the sleeping beast. Like you don't want to anger them in any type of way. So you're trying to really, this is also related to walking on eggshells. I'm going to have to finish up soon because my phone is about to die. Dang. Okay. Yeah, it's almost like walking on eggshells, and you know that you try to do everything in your power to not um, fumble, but somehow you still fumble. And then they'll say, "You didn't even care anything about how I felt about this or that." When you know you took that's all you were thinking about. You didn't even think about how yourself felt about the situation because you're too busy worrying about them. Okay, so you don't hear them complain with all that caretaking, and with all that caretaking, they still find a way to complain. It's just always something you didn't do for them, which brings me to the next. They don't mention all the things that you did do. Now, in these such situations, it's all about you didn't do this, you didn't do that right. Oh, you didn't do that. You didn't do this. But they never mention you did do this. You did do that. Oh, you went out of your way to do this. Oh, you did something for me that other people would not do. And something that I really wouldn't do for you if they were going to be truthful. But you never hear that in these situations. All you hear about is what you did not do, which again causes more negative feelings to reflect on yourself. Oh, I dropped the ball here. Oh, I dropped the ball there. And I'm telling you, after a while in it, now, when you first go through it, it probably wouldn't affect you that bad because you still know who you are. But after some years of being in these situations, you start to think you're a horrible person. And they're telling you pretty much, even if they're not saying it in direct words, they're telling you you're a horrible person. You are when you know you're not. So it's kind of making you out to be what you're not, basically. Okay. And then they say, I would do it for you. You know, knowing They're not going to lift a finger for you. If they do lift a finger, it's going to be something so super simple. Like something that any anybody would do, like almost like opening a door for somebody. Though that is a nice gesture that a person didn't have to do. If they open the door for you, you owe them. Like it's like I don't know. It's and then it they try to stack it up against anything that you have done. You could have done a whole bunch of things that take a long time to do, or it takes a lot of money to do, or it takes a lot of something to do, and they can do something small or minute or just average, and somehow they're equal to what you've done. Okay. And then you're so mean, and that's like that assassinates your character because you're completely not mean. So how is this person saying I'm mean? Or when they say you're so stupid, when you know you're not stupid. Whatever they say, it's usually gonna be, you can pick what they're saying apart, and usually the opposite of what they're saying is what you really are. Because they don't want you to have a good image of yourself. Because the more you start to build your self image in these relationships and you start to know exactly who you are, that's the more that they are not going to want to be in these relationships. You kind of got to make yourself a doormat in these situations. And that after a while again walked over, you no longer want to be that doormat, right? So I didn't have my list quite worked out right, but that was just a quick list of things that narcissists say that just piss you off. All right, with that said, I'm about to go on to bed because my phone about to go on to bed too. So, all right, here's your girl Cadillac. Thank you, guys.